If you are a student right now, your school is actively paying probably thousands of dollars for literal spyware that was designed to falsely accuse you of cheating. A multi-million dollar corporate arms race has pretty much completely infected the education system, and innocent students are unfortunately the ones taking the damage. So companies are selling incredibly broken, supposedly called AI detectors to schools that are actively starting to flag 100% human written essays as artificial intelligence, which is not good, resulting in things like ruined GPAs, lost scholarships and academic suspensions, consequences. And the worst part is that a shadow industry of AI humanizers has popped up, charging terrified students monthly subscription fees just to be able to bypass these faulty detectors their schools are forcing them to use and check. So today we're looking at the massive financial scam currently destroying the school systems, especially in the United States, and how students are finally realizing that this is not good and they're fighting back sort of. So over the last 2 years, the tech industry has successfully manufactured an absolute panic inside of both high schools and universities. So when generative text models first dropped, the academic world was terrified that no student would ever write an original paper again, which seems valid. And immediately corporate software companies saw an opportunity to absolutely print bank. So tech startups and established plagiarism checkers, I think Turnitin for example, they started marketing multi-million dollar enterprise software packages to school districts. And these packages claimed that they had built proprietary AI detectors that could perfectly catch cheating students. And schools, they blindly bought into these corporate promises and these subscriptions, integrating these platforms directly into I think LMS, Canvas for example, and Blackboard. My school uses Canvas, by the way, fun fact. But there was one massive problem that the tech industry refused to admit to the schools. And it is a simple fact that these AI detectors are fundamentally broken. They're not always right. They do not actually know if a human or a machine wrote a piece of text. Pretty much they rely on a highly flawed algorithmic data system that measures two factors: perplexity and burstiness. It sounds kind of advanced, but in simple terms, the algorithm looks at your writing, your vocabulary, and your sentence structure. And if your writing is highly structured, uses formal academic language, and stays strictly on topic, the algorithm gives it a low perplexity score. And because AI also writes with highly structured, formal language, what happens at these detectors, they automatically flag what could be completely 100% original writing as artificial intelligence. Think how incredibly dystopian this is. The exact things that your English teachers and professors have probably spent years teaching you what to do. Write clearly, use proper transitions, maintain a formal tone, and structure your arguments, obvious things. These are the exact triggers that cause these software to accuse you of academic fraud, which is not fair. We are seeing thousands of cases of honor students, PhD candidates, and international students getting falsely hit with false positives. Okay, well that sounds kind of wrong. They're getting hit with false positives. So students are literally handing over their Google Doc version histories, showing hours of typing and editing, but they're still getting failed by professors, simply because flawed tech industry algorithm spit out a 98% AI probability score, which is probably false. It is a guilty until proven innocent system right here, driven entirely by corporate profit. But this situation actually gets so much worse. Because right now, as these tech companies started locking schools into these expensive detection contracts quite predatory, a brand new highly predatory market has emerged as well, quietly from the shadows. And when you realize exactly who is profiting off these this massive algorithmic panic, you'll understand why this entire ecosystem is nothing but a legalized financial scam. It is terrible. So enter the absolute worst part of this entire technological disaster: the AI humanizers. So because students are now like living in constant fear of being flawlessly like accused by school spyware, an entirely new tech sector has started to weaponize that anxiety for profit. So websites are aggressively targeting like students on social media like TikTok and Instagram with like a massive extortion scheme. Like their pitch is simple but very manipulative. Like they know the school's AI detectors are broken. Okay, I got a notification. Ignore that. But pretty much they offer to take your completely optional human written essay and run it through their proprietary algorithm to, humanize it, guaranteeing that it will, bypass school spyware. But it is not free. Like they are locking terrified teenagers and young adults as well into recurring corporate subscriptions, charging anywhere from I think like $10 a month to up to like $50 for like the service. Like students have started paying like a monthly ransom to a tech startup just to ensure like their legitimate hard work isn't being flagged by another tech startup's like broken software. Like it is a closed loop financial scam, point and simple. And the irony of these premium AI human subscriptions is absolutely like staggering. To bypass like schools like AI detectors, these humanizer algorithms, like they actually have to ruin the quality of your writing. Like because like these detectors, they flag formal, highly structured text. These bypassers like they attempt to bypass them by intentionally ejecting like grammatical errors, making your writing worse, like awkward phrasing, and like completely unnatural, like sentence like structures into your essay. Like these AI humanizers, they will take a beautifully articulated piece of academic writing and rewrite it to sound like a middle schooler's like diary entry, like randomly inserting like phrases that are not relevant or just making it like just read worse, like just like lower quality. Like students are paying like top dollars, top doubloons to have their own high quality work like actively like degraded, just so a multi-million-dollar educational algorithm doesn't falsely suspend them one day because their writing seems like AI. Like we have created a system where like competent, intelligent writing is treated as like highly suspicious, and intentionally like poor writing is being rewarded as authentic. Like the entire tech industry right now is actively like punishing students for actually learning how to write. Like you have to look at the financial like incentives driving this entire operation to understand like why it hasn't been shut down yet. Like you could say this is not just like a glitch in the matrix sort of system, but it is like a highly lucrative business model. Like the companies developing these AI detectors know exactly how high the false positive rates are. Like it's sky high. Like internal studies as well as like independent like academic research have repeatedly proven that like all like these tools disproportionately flag like non-native English speakers, for example, and also like like neurodivergent like writers as AI written. Yet these tech corporations, like they continue to secure massive multi-billion-dollar enterprise like contracts with universities and public school districts. Like they are selling a digital placebo to like school administrators who right now are like desperate for a quick fix to make sure all the kids like don't use AI. Like administrators, they get to pretend like they're maintaining academic integrity, and the software companies, they also get to report like massive quarterly profits to the good old like shareholders. And the AI humanizer startups, like they get to siphon millions of dollars in like subscription fees directly out of the wallets of terrified, mostly college students especially. Like I know a guy at Brown who's doing this method. It's kind of crazy. Like it is a parasite tech ecosystem where the only people losing are the users forced to interact with the software. Like it is a lose-lose game right here.